In 1948, Israel became a nation. Before that, the League of Nations played a big role in changing the world map. After World War I, the Ottoman Empire fell and countries got new borders. The League wanted to help create new nations. One of them was Israel. Israel found itself surrounded by Arab countries. These countries were not happy about Israel's formation. Tensions were high, and it was not easy for the new nation.
During the 40s, many Jewish refugees left Europe. They hoped to find a safe home in Palestine. But this caused problems too. The land already had many Arab families. The United Nations tried to help with a partition plan. This plan divided Palestine into two states, one for Jews and one for Arabs. This led to Israel declaring its independence. But many Arab people had to leave their homes because of this change.
After declaring its independence, Israel faced conflicts right away. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War was the first major battle. It happened because neighboring Arab countries did not accept Israel's formation. They wanted the lands back that were taken from them. This war led to many Palestinian Arabs leaving their homes. It was a tough time as these people had lived there for generations. They had to leave to find safety elsewhere.
Yes, after that, there was another big problem in 1956 called the Suez Crisis. This was the second big fight. Israel joined forces with Britain and France to take control of the Suez Canal in Egypt. But the fight was short, and international pressure forced them to stop. A very important area during this time was the Sinai Peninsula. It acted like a safety line or buffer between Israel and Egypt, preventing more conflict.
This region between Israel and Egypt was full of tension. The area known as the Sinai Peninsula became a focal point. Israel returned the region to Egypt after the crisis. But having this buffer reduced direct conflicts for a while. For the listeners who want to support us, remember, you can join as a paid member. This way, you'll also get access to the transcript and support our work. We really appreciate it.
Talking about conflicts, the actions of a few countries affected everyone. Big promises were made by Britain that led to misunderstandings. They had promised control to both Jews and Arabs, creating more tension. With partition plans and wars, both sides felt they had lost something very dear. These early disagreements set the stage for a long-standing struggle that we will discuss more about in the coming parts.
We now reach the events that led to the Six-Day War in 1967. Everything started with Israel's water needs. The Sea of Galilee is crucial for Israel, but this sea gets its waters from the Golan Heights, which Syria controlled. In 1964, Israel wanted to take water from here to the Negev desert. Syria did not like this and tried to stop Israel. Without enough water, Israel faced more problems.
Then, Egypt got involved in 1967. Egypt closed the Straits of Tiran to Israeli ships. This act was serious because it blocked Israeli access to the Red Sea. For Israel, this meant they could not receive important shipments like oil. If international waters can't be used, it's seen as an act of war by many countries. Egypt's blockade made the situation even worse for Israel, sparking more tension.
After the wars in 1948 and 1956, tensions did not fade away. Palestinian groups started attacks from Jordan, targeting Israeli towns and cities. These surprise raids caused fear among people living nearby. Israel tried to stop these attacks, but it made the situation worse. The fights were not just limited to the ground. There were clashes in the sky too. Israeli and Syrian planes had fights above their shared border.
Yes, and this military activity made international relations more complex. There was false information about Israeli troops at the Syrian border. This incorrect Soviet report made the situation worse. Egypt's leader, Nasser, used it to show that Arab countries were strong. He moved military forces into Sinai, creating more tension. His move came after nationalizing the Suez Canal years earlier, which proved his willingness to challenge other countries.
Nasser's actions showed that he wanted to lead the Arab countries in the region. His military buildup wasn't just about defense. It was also about power and showing dominance. The Sinai Peninsula was at the center of all these activities. While Nasser prepared his army, other Arab countries looked to Egypt for leadership. The previous events at the Suez Canal showed Egypt's influence and its readiness to challenge powers like Britain and France.
This atmosphere of readiness for conflict created pressure on all sides. Arab countries signed defense pacts, making a statement of unity. They wanted to show that they were ready to erase Israel from the map. The buildup of troops and tanks was a clear message to Israel. The scenes at the Suez Canal earlier had shown how quickly tensions could rise, and now, history seemed to repeat.
In 1967, the Arab countries came together to form defense treaties. Their main goal was to stand strong against Israel. They included Egypt, Syria, Jordan, and Iraq. These countries wanted to show they were ready for anything. Israel knew this was a serious threat and prepared carefully. They decided to make a national unity government. This meant all political groups would work together to protect their country. By June, they saw the need for action.
As the defense treaties were signed, the Arab nations showed their military readiness. They brought their armies together, preparing for battle with Israel. Tanks, planes, and soldiers were ready to move. Israel saw this buildup and took it very seriously. They had been getting ready for such a situation, with plans in place for years. They knew if there was a war, they must act quickly. Their leaders agreed it was time to face this great challenge.
The Six-Day War began with a big airstrike called Operation Focus. Israel targeted Egypt fast and hard. It was a planned attack using almost all of Israel's planes. Israeli pilots were very well prepared, and their practice was crucial. They flew quickly, attacked, and returned in just 8 minutes to reload. This quick action helped them strike again and again. They did this 8 times in a day, surprising the enemy.
Israeli forces gained control of the skies because of Operation Focus. They destroyed many Egyptian, Jordanian, and Syrian planes. This air control was crucial for the rest of the war. But the battle on the ground was still tough. Israel had strong air power, but they still needed to fight hard in the land battles. They were now in a challenging 3-front war, including in the Sinai region.
As the war continued, Israeli land forces began their advance into the Sinai. They wanted to catch the Egyptian forces off guard. Israel used surprise as their main strategy. They knew the element of surprise could turn the battle in their favor. The Israeli troops moved silently and stayed hidden until they were ready to attack. They were well prepared, and their strategy was planned carefully to avoid the mistakes of past conflicts.
Indeed, the Israeli forces were smaller in number compared to Egypt's. While Egypt had nearly 100,000 soldiers and many tanks, Israel had only 70,000 soldiers and fewer tanks. But what they lacked in numbers, they made up with smart tactics. They chose different routes to avoid expected attacks. This clever move gave them an upper hand. They caught the Egyptian forces by surprise, showing how important strategy is in a battle.
Choosing different routes was part of Israel's unique approach to the war. They remembered the routes from the 1956 conflict and decided not to repeat them. This change helped them move quickly and secretly. The Israeli forces synchronized their moves with the airstrikes. This coordination was key to their success, allowing them to hit hard and fast. They made sure each step they took was more unexpected than the last.
Their coordinated efforts both in the air and on land created a powerful impact during the war. While the airstrikes gained control of the skies, the ground forces moved with precision. Israel's strategic planning showed that even smaller forces could achieve much if they moved wisely. With surprise on their side, they managed to turn the tide of the battle. It reminds us how important it is to think differently when facing bigger challenges. We hope you enjoyed learning about the Six-Day War. Please like our podcast and leave a comment to let us know your thoughts. If you want more content, consider becoming a member on YouTube. Members receive full access to transcripts of our episodes and can help support the ongoing creation of interesting content. Join us to continue exploring important historical events and their impacts on today's world.